This is an overview of what we did to put a local repository on the hard disk in Debian 6. We created a folder called Repository. Within Repository we had individual folders for each of the hard disks. So the disk in the drive, we simply copied all of the files from it from DVD1 into the DVD1 folder. We can see them there. It may not be strictly necessary to copy everything, but we did that for simplicity. Then we copied the contents of the DVD2 into DVD2 folder and DVD3. Now there are 7 disks in the whole set for Debian 6, and we could have put them all on if we wanted, but we're just doing this as an illustration. So we have the files for each of the first three DVDs now sitting in a repository folder on the hard disk in our home space, but we now need to tell the Synaptic Package Manager about them, so we'll do something about that next. We've opened the package manager and typed in the root password for access. Now we need to find a package here which is already installed. It's called dpackage. That one was there, but when we first installed the program, this one wasn't installed, and we need that to the next step. So we installed dpackage-dev, the development package, and that gave us the tools we needed to do the next step. I'll shrink this down for now. In this text file there are a mod which we used to generate some package lists to go in the folders in the repository. We needed to open a root console for the next bit. Now we need to change directory into the repository folder. Now we can go into the DVD1 folder. And just to check we're there, we can do a list of the files in it. What we did then was copied in that command which we saw just now, and we did that by pressing the Control, Shift and V keys. And what we did then was pressed enter, and it generated a package list which was in a compressed format. I'm not going to repeat that, but if you do that you will see the names of all of the files on the screen here in the console. You may get a message about a loop. It's an error message, but that's okay, it normally does that, so just ignore that. Now, because there are many thousands of packages to list, it takes a few minutes to do this, so be patient. If it's still doing it 5 minutes later, don't worry, wait until it's finished. And what should happen, I'll show you in a moment. It should generate this. It's a packages list. And if we double click on that, we can see inside an immense list of information. If we go into another folder, we can see a file with the same name, packages.gz, but it's different. This one refers to the contents of DVD2. So we have to generate a package list for each of these, so we have to log into each of them in turn, generate the package list, and then we have something to tell the Synaptic Package Manager. If we go back into the Package Manager and go to Settings, Repositories, then we can add the contents we need. So what we did here was clicked on New, and in these boxes we put the information that was needed, and that's shown here. So to tell it what's in repository DVD1, we put in that information. This binary deb was left there at default. In here we wrote squeeze, which is the name of the version of Debian we're using. And in sections we put contrib space main. If I increase the size of this, we can see what's already in there. When that one's in, for DVD2 we simply change this, and then we can add that one. And as we add each one we click on OK, and after we click OK it gives us a prompt to reload everything, and we click on this reload button. I'm not going to do that because we don't really want to add anything here. In this window we can see some entries that were put there by default. So when we put the first disk in, let me increase this for a moment again. That was the information it read from the first DVD that was in the disk drive when we first installed this. But we're not going to refer to that, because if we want to install a program, then we will install it from the repository now. So we simply unchecked these things. We left the references in there, but we unchecked them, and the only references we wanted were these for the repository. This one here we don't, that's a duplicate of one up there, so I'll delete that, click on OK, and there's our prompt saying repositories have changed. And if I click on reload, it showed a number 36 in there. Now we can close this, and in theory all of the information for all of those three DVD packages in the folders in the repository folder are logged in the Synaptic Package Manager. If I close this, or now for now, then we should be able to go back to the Package Manager any time and install programs from the repository. So let's have a look at that again. I should be able to search here and find just about anything I want to install. So if I wanted this one, 3D Chess, then the Synaptic Package Manager will know which of the repository folders that program is in, be able to install it without fuss. So let's see what happens. It's telling me here which packages will be installed for the whole thing. And if I click on Apply and confirm that, it's still installing, shouldn't take long. And it's now installed the program. So it's showing that in a solid green square now because it's installed. And if I want to find out something about the program, I can write it. I can click on Properties and get a description. and there's the link to it in the games directory, and there's 3D chess. So that was a quick overview of what we did to install the contents of 3 of the DVDs into a repository folder and log them into the Synaptic Package Manager so that any of the packages from those disks could be installed without having to use a physical DVD or anything. We can put from 1 to 7 on there, and usually it's quite convenient to have them on the hard disk. I hope that was of interest to someone. We'll do some more topics in other clips later. Meanwhile, thanks for listening. Bye for now.